Bungie has just given us the episode Heresy live stream reveal. They've shown us everything that they want to get us excited and to jump into Destiny 2 Heresy and check out the new content. But was it enough? What are my honest opinions after playing the game for over 20,000 hours? I want to give you my opinion of this. I've rewatched the VOD several times. I've taken diligent notes on each and every part of it, and I want to give you my opinion, especially if you're a returning player or if you are a new player, if this is the time for you to jump in. So first things first, we're going to jump right into it, which is just that I think that this reveal was very light. I think if you've watched previous reveals in Destiny 2, you kind of were left with the feeling of like, is that it? Is that all they're showing us? Which sometimes mystery can be a good thing because, you know, maybe there'll be some really cool secrets throughout this episode that will really win the fans over and excite the player base. But at this point in time, with the player base being so skeptical of Bungie's decisions and player sentiment being at an all-time low, now would really be the time to reveal all your cards, Bungie, and to really excite the community, even if you have to show perhaps too much for episode Heresy. That's my opinion of the matter. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I think it was a little bit too light. I wasn't extremely impressed overall by everything that was offered to us. It didn't feel like it was maybe as fulfilling as some of the other episodes that we have previously encountered throughout this year. Oryx is coming back, which is an interesting point, but I can't help but feel like we're talking about the Hive and the Hive Pantheon. I was like, Xivu Wrath is definitely going to be the focus of this episode. Surely. That's the closed end that we haven't fixed yet. Like we don't know, we haven't had that proper introduction and everything. Of course that this would be the episode for Xivu to arrive, but instead we got Oryx is back and we're fighting some random dread guy that's like taken. I was like, in the dungeon, I was like, what is this? You know, maybe, just maybe there's a chance that Xivu is in the dungeon, but I doubt that. You know, it seems more like Xivu might be a part of some other type of storyline that Bungie's trying to tell, which is really confusing. Like when Bungie said they were going to do a whole Hive episode and it was going to be about the Hive Pantheon, everyone thought Xivu. So a little confused by that. Maybe they're trying to play that one close to their chest, and maybe we will get Xivu later on and it'll be a really nice surprise if we do. But I was very confused about that, especially because Oryx coming back is like, I'm not especially enthusiastic about that. You know, I'm kind of okay with that storyline being put to rest, but you know, we're right now in a filler year as we fill in content towards the new big launch, which is Frontiers. So you're going to expect some interesting storylines, to say the least. The Dreadnaught is also coming back, and I do actually look forward to this because the Dreadnaught has always been a location that I really liked, and I think that it's being reimagined in a way that I actually find interesting. I think that the different routes that you're going to go down and the different mysteries that you're going to find and the change in the aesthetic where things are like peeling back and you can see the bone within them, I like that. That's a very cool vibe, very cool aesthetic to me. And although I only get these initial first impressions, I have a feeling that I'm actually going to like this space quite a bit. It doesn't seem especially innovative though. If I had to give a criticism of it, it doesn't seem like it's as they were walking through it didn't seem like it was so creative and such an interesting, like the reveal that we got or the little snippet that we got didn't seem to wow me in that regard in terms of innovation. But the explore version of it as well seemed like an odd change that we've never seen, where you can like go into the activity and there's enemies and you are not on a timer, so you can explore around and find sort of secrets. You know, I was like, what are we going to find throughout there? I wonder if Bungie will pay a nod to the basketball court of Oryx. I noticed the location they're at. I wonder if they'll go back to the basketball court of Oryx there. We'll have to see. They put some little secrets in there like they had back in the day. I don't know if you remember the basketball court of Oryx, but if you do, you're a real OG and a true Destiny veteran. If you don't know, then, well, we're going to keep an inside joke against you here. Next up is the aesthetic, like I mentioned, I really like as well. The dungeon, still very, very mysterious, so it's very hard to give a criticism of what I think the dungeon will be like, if I think it will be good or not. At this point in time, we obviously have seen the emblem, and it does have a worm on it, which should be like the mother of all the worms, and it's like massive. If you've seen, it's like 20 times bigger than Zal, so there's some potential there if we do actually like fight against that as a boss, or if that's like the environment that we enter into to find said boss, said dread boss, or said Xivu, or whatever it is that we're going after inside this dungeon. So that I'm leaving a little bit, I'm not giving too much judgment on the dungeon because it's still extremely mysterious at this point in time. And it has potential, right? There's potential for the dungeon to be kick-ass. I think that the last dungeon, Bungie nailed it. It was so good, so much fun, and I'm optimistic that they're going to do it again. We'll see. Next part we're going to talk about is the Trials rework that they talked about. This obviously we're going to gloss over quickly because they just showed some of the armor. Looks good, obviously. Looking forward to jumping into Trials. I think that this will help rejuvenate the PvP scene a little bit, especially when you can go into Trials and it's not as punishing as was before. Maybe people will play it more regularly as they do with Iron Banner. As Bungie mentioned, the Iron Banner population is 3 times as popular as Trials of Osiris. So it would be nice if Iron Banner players would come over and play some Trials, so that way, you know, we don't match cheaters all the time, but we'll see if we'll actually get them into the game. We also have the new exotic SMG and the new exotic trace rifle. Both look really interesting. I mean, the exotic SMG, just the model for it just looked unbelievable. I was like, what is that? Is that a gun? That didn't even look like a gun in the game. And it's how it has reconstruction on it, like super rapid, fast reconstruction. Seems interesting. I'm excited to get my hands on that and use that, even if it's not just the most completely busted thing in the game. I think that we're kind of past that age of Destiny where, you know, every new exotic is just broken, and that's why it's exciting. It's like more just like, it's fun, it's unique, it can play into certain build crafting and play styles, and therefore we like it. You know, like we're kind of more sophisticated in the late stage Destiny player base. But let me know what you think about that. And the trace rifle as well looks pretty fun. Looks like it'll be excellent for clearing a room of ads and have some unique functionality with being able to spray people with bolt shot everywhere and, you know, constantly recharge itself. I think both exotics look fun and powerful and interesting to me. Let me know if you agree. Then we also have the heretical adepts, which I'm not exactly sure how we're getting those or the path to unlocking multiple perks with those, but it seems actually pretty interesting. I mean, I'm looking forward to getting some more powerful weaponry, and I hope that these heretical adepts are some of those weapons. Obviously, along with those adepts, we also have crafted VOG weapons, which I was not expecting at this point in time, but is an excellent and a welcome change to the game, because I myself, as an avid raider in this game, someone that loves to raid, I always look for a reason to get the raid team together. I'm waiting to message them, and I'm like, yes, it's time. Let's go back into VOG. And some of them will be like, really, VOG? You know, not that interested, but I'm happy to go back in and grind VOG for, you know, we'll probably grind it for how many? A few weeks until we all get the god rolls of the crafted weapons patterns unlocked, and then all the god rolls of the adepts as well. I'm looking forward to that. Even though I've played VOG a ton in Destiny 1, like an absurd amount in Destiny 1, I've played VOG an absurd amount in Destiny 2, and there's not really any reason to be so excited for the activity. I think it's fun to get back into that raid just because it's the OG raid, you know, it's the raid. There's some nostalgia there that no matter what can be fun jumping into that one. I'm looking forward to that one. And still a little salty if you haven't seen the recent news. They said they're never, ever bringing back Wrath of the Machine. They were pretty adamant about that, and I'm still punching my pillow late at night, salty about that one. On top of that, they did mention that there would be 3 new aspects created, 2 of those being arc ones, one for the Titan, which seems ridiculously OP, and then one for the Warlock. Both seem just busted, or actually, especially the Titan one seems busted, but they both seem good and both seem interesting, but the Titan one looks insane. The Hunter one is for Void, and you like jump in your smoke, and then you mark a target, and then you kill that target, and it makes another smoke. And I was like, what's the point of this though? Like, at what point do we need to be constantly going invis and like rotating from smoke to smoke? I don't know. I don't see that being extremely practical in any encounter in the game at this point in time. Maybe it has some crazy application in PvP, but if it did, that would be awful, because that would just be people going invis all the time, and that's not really a playstyle that people like, but who knows? Maybe that will be the meta in there. We got to get a peek at the seasonal artifact, which was looking pretty promising. I mean, they only showed us a couple things, but obviously they look pretty powerful and look pretty good overall, so not too disappointed with the seasonal artifact at this point in time. Obviously, seasonal artifact mods, you know, at this point in time, there's not a whole lot that gets me really excited, especially if we're talking about bringing back old seasonal artifact mods, which they did. And so, you know, it kind of just rejuvenates different weapons within the sandbox and within the meta. So I'm thinking, based on what I saw, I think it's probably a sleeper meta is going to be really strong, but that's my early prediction. Sleeper meta, let me know if you think I'm right or wrong, and we'll come back to this after we find out what the meta is. I think sleeper simulant meta, though, that's my call. And then we also have Bolt Charge being incorporated, and got to take a little bit of a sneak peek of Bolt Charge inside Destiny 2. It looked pretty interesting. Overall, I'm excited to jump in and, you know, use these different arc classes and create some new arc builds with that. And we also got to see the Adamantite healing auto rifle and its strand, and apparently can do some pretty funny strand turret things with it. So looking forward to some new weapons, some new functionality with that as well. And lastly, they did mention that they're going to have Star Wars collab, which was just so good. Obviously it looked really nice. I love Star Wars as a franchise overall. To bring that collaboration over to Destiny 2 was really cool. One question I do have though is that why did they choose those particular characters? The collaboration looked really good, but it could have been better, right? You could have had Darth Vader, Obi-Wan, but instead they kind of went with the, you know, the Elite Death Trooper. The Stormtrooper is excellent, like that one. I just think that their choices overall were maybe subpar, but maybe there's more to that collaboration than just those 3 sets. Because I noticed that all 3 are villains, so I'm like, where's the good guys at? Maybe there's like a villain set and then a good guy set, maybe? I don't know. We'll have to see what they do with the Star Wars collab, but there's a lot of potential there, right? There's a lot of potential. Like, this is a money-making scheme for Bungie where they could make like $1 billion off this Star Wars collab alone. Like, he could be driving a Bugatti the day after this Star Wars collab goes live. If they sell a Darth Vader armor mod set, like, that's like $1 billion. Like a lot of people are buying that, right? If you could walk around the tower and see Darth freaking Vader, that's going to be pretty epic. Let me know what you think about that collaboration down in the comment section below. And those were everything. That was all of the criticisms and all of the bullet points that were brought up throughout the entirety of this massive live stream. And like I said, just felt a little bit empty overall. Like, my overall impressions are skeptical. I'm worried that if this new activity, if the Nether isn't a real winner, that we're gonna have 4 months of a really bad drought. If the Trials rework doesn't get rid of the cheaters and rejuvenate the population well enough, then Trials is gonna feel really weird as well. It could be a really weird low population season overall. I'm a little bit skeptical. This live stream impressed me, and only enough to give it a 5.5 out of 10, if I'm being honest. I was not blown out of the water with this one, but I only say that because I like to give you my honest opinions and criticisms of this. I will still be, you know, buying it and playing it. So if I do change my mind as I've gotten into day 1, week 1, I'll make an update video and I'll say, you know, actually 5 out of 5 was a little low for the initial first impressions. I'm actually rating this a 7 out of 10 or a 7.5 or an 8.5. You know, I doubt we're going to see anything above an 8.5. You know, if you're trying to give an honest criticism of this episode, there's very slim chance that this is anywhere above an 8.5 based on what we've seen so far. Unless Bungie is just like hiding 3 crazy exotic missions out of nowhere, you know, but I doubt that, right? So we'll have to see what happens when we actually jump into Heresy though. And that's a wrap on this one though. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, and make sure to subscribe, smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.